Have you ever heard the story of the Mary Celeste? It's one of history's most chilling maritime mysteries. Imagine this, a perfectly seaworthy ship, found drifting aimlessly in the vast Atlantic Ocean, with no one on board. What happened to its crew? Let's dive into the strange and unsettling tale of the ghost ship, the Mary Celeste. Our story begins on December 4th, 1872. The British brigantine Dei Gracia was sailing through the Azores when its crew spotted something odd. Another ship, about 6 miles away, was moving erratically, its sails askew. As they got closer, they recognized the vessel, the Mary Celeste, an American merchant ship that had left New York City a month earlier, bound for Genoa, Italy. The captain of the Dei Gracia, David Morehouse, was actually friends with the Mary Celeste's captain, Benjamin Briggs. Sensing something was terribly wrong, Morehouse sent a boarding party. What they found was a scene straight out of a nightmare. The ship was utterly deserted. There was no sign of Captain Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, or the 7 experienced crew members. They had all vanished without a trace. The ship itself was in surprisingly good condition. It was a little waterlogged, but nothing a seasoned crew couldn't handle. The cargo of 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol was almost entirely intact. In the ship's galley, there were ample provisions, enough food and fresh water to last for 6 months. Personal belongings were still in the crew's quarters, everything left as if its owners intended to return at any moment. Valuables, including money and jewelry, were untouched on the captain's table. They found the ship's logbook. The last entry was dated 10 days earlier, November 25th. It recorded the ship's position and noted at sea. All well. There was no mention of any distress or unusual event, so what could have happened? The boarding party from the Dei Gracia noted a few strange things. The ship's only lifeboat was missing. This suggests the crew abandoned ship deliberately. But why? Why would a veteran captain like Benjamin Briggs order his family and crew into a small, open lifeboat in the middle of the unpredictable Atlantic, leaving behind a much safer, larger vessel? The sextant and chronometer, vital navigational tools, were also gone. This reinforces the idea of an orderly evacuation. They clearly planned to navigate somewhere, but where? And what drove them to take such a drastic risk over the years? Theories have swirled round the Mary Celeste like a thick sea fog. Let's explore some of the most popular ones. One early theory was piracy. Could pirates have boarded the ship, murdered the crew, and made off with something valuable? This seems unlikely. As we mentioned, the cargo and the crew's personal valuables were all still on board. Pirates are generally in it for the loot, and they left everything behind. Plus, there were no signs of a struggle or violence anywhere on the ship. What about a mutiny? Perhaps the crew rose up against Captain Briggs. But again, where's the evidence? Briggs was known as a fair and respected captain. His crew was experienced and had good records, and if they took over the ship, why would they then abandon it? It just doesn't add up. A more scientific theory involves the cargo itself, barrels of denatured alcohol. The idea is that some of the barrels might have leaked, creating a buildup of flammable vapor in the hold. Perhaps there was a small, contained explosion, a loud whoosh of ignited vapor that blew off the main hatch but didn't cause significant structural damage. Fearing a much larger, catastrophic explosion was imminent, Captain Briggs might have made a split-second decision. Everyone into the lifeboat. Now, he might have intended to tow the lifeboat behind the Mary Celeste at a safe distance, waiting for the danger to pass. But if the tow line snapped, they would have been left adrift in a tiny boat, while the mothership sailed on without them, becoming the ghost ship we know today. This vapor explosion theory explains the missing lifeboat and the lack of panic signs, but it's still just a theory. 9 of the 1,701 barrels were found empty, which could support this idea. Then there are the more imaginative explanations: giant squid attacks, paranormal events. Even alien abduction have been proposed. While these make for great stories, they lack any shred of concrete evidence. People were so desperate for an answer that they turned to the supernatural. In an era of spiritualism and sea-monster legends, it's easy to see why these fantastic tales took hold. Another intriguing, though less dramatic, possibility points to a faulty chronometer. If the ship's clock was off, Captain Briggs might have miscalculated their position, believing they were much closer to land than they actually were. Combined with a malfunctioning pump and rough weather which was reported in the area around that time, he might have thought the ship was taking on water faster than it was and was about to sink near the treacherous shores of the Azores. In this scenario, abandoning ship for what he thought was a short road to safety would seem like a prudent, if tragically mistaken, decision. But here's the thing: we will likely never know for sure. The ocean holds its secrets close. The 10 people aboard the Mary Celeste were never seen or heard from again. Their lifeboat was never found. All we have is the silent, empty ship they left behind, a floating coffin that has puzzled historians and sailors for over 150 years. The Dei Gratia crew sailed the Mary Celeste to Gibraltar, where a court of inquiry was held. The court was initially suspicious, even accusing the Dei Gratia crew of foul play to claim the salvage reward. But with no evidence of a crime, they were eventually cleared, though they received a much smaller reward than expected, deepening the mystery and suspicion. The story of the Mary Celeste serves as a powerful reminder of the unforgiving nature of the sea and the thin line that separates a routine voyage from an eternal mystery. It's a true ghost story, not of hauntings or spirits, but of a profound and unsettling absence. An empty ship, a full cargo hold, and a question that echoes through time. What happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? What do you think happened? Let me know your best theories down in the comments. The truth is out there, somewhere, lost to the winds and the waves. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tales from the unknown. Stay curious, and see you next time.